Alright, what is up guys? Losing Manic here, and welcome back to another video. It's pretty late in the morning, it's pretty early in the morning, so excuse my low-tempered voice. But today, I wanted to talk about, something that I noticed, like, a few nights ago, and I watched a video talking about, like, faking, like, disorders, or TikTok faking disorders. So I'm a bit nervous to talk about this because I know that that whole thing brought people on edge. So I'm trying to not claim anything, but I do want to say, if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm talking about like the one weird thing I've noticed about my ADHD that is fucking weird, and I don't know if it's normal. I hope it is because otherwise I'm just an idiot. If it's not my ADHD, then I'm just coming off as an idiot or whatever. But for some of you guys who don't know, which is not, it's it's it's, it's possible. Again, see, I just messed up. I have ADHD and autism, although I'm kind of putting an asterisk next to that because I don't like saying I have autism because I've met autistic people before and they were a bit more higher functioning than me. They were, I don't know how to put it, their autism was a bit more noticeable. That's what I'll say without being too offensive. But with that, but my autism was pretty diagnosed like pretty late on, between like the summer, um, or between like eighth grade, as I graduated from eighth grade, moving on to high school. That summer break was when I learned I had autism. So it's like the entirety of my elementary and middle school year, my parents just thought I was being a bit too much. But then they later learned that it's my autism, and they still acted I was a bit much, but whatever. Um, so yeah, but this is about my autism. This is about my ADHD. So one of the things I've noticed, and you can watch like a lot of these other videos. I think it mostly appears in video game videos or whatever. But like just go through like my other videos, and it's pretty noticeable on some of them, not all of them. But I space out whenever I talk. Like there have been days where like I just talk and talk and talk, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what am I talking about? Like it happens like a lot, and I didn't know. Um, Again, like I'm a bit like spaced out, but that's just because I'm trying to make sure that no one can hear me. Mostly my grandmother, although she left like an hour ago, so it should be fine. I think I know where she's going. But yeah, so and I didn't notice this until a few nights ago. I talk before I sleep because I know it's like a bad thing to do, but it's something I do anyways. It just lets me know like the more I delay talking, then I know that I'm ready to sleep. But if I keep talking more, then I know I'm not, and I don't know. It's a weird thing I do. Probably it's my imagination running amok. That's the word, not amok. There's no N in that word. But yeah, and I've noticed before that like I usually have like all these like scenarios in my head I go through, but that night I was talking, I was like, what the hell am I talking about? That happens a lot more than you think. Like it's not like every week, but it's at least once a month. It's ridiculous. I would just sit there talking and talking, and I'm like, what the hell was I talking? I completely forget what I was talking about. And before you ask, no, it ADHD to me, from what I've noticed, isn't a sudden case of like out of nowhere you're just talking, and then oh look, a squirrel. Like it could be what it is, but to me that's not how it works. I do get distracted, like sure, but it's not like that. To some people maybe, but to me it's not. And I have noticed people who um and I've hung around a lot of ADHD people, and if that happens to them, I haven't noticed. because my ADHD kicks in a lot, but I do get distracted on stuff. Like at this point in time, like you seem like look up like this. That's because I'm looking out to like a window in front of me. So I would look out into there just because why not? But I have gone distracted before, but it's not like a sudden so today I was shopping at the mall and then all of a sudden there was this like weird guy who came up to, oh, look at that, like shiny object. Like I don't do that. Like that's not a sudden thing that happens. um but again, not to discredit people who are like that. If you are like that, then maybe I'm wrong, but to my knowledge of the like bunch of different people who I've met who have ADHD, that's not something that's really happened. Um, my dad has it, and that's not a thing that happens to him. He doesn't sit still like me. I hate sitting still. I've tried sitting still before, like just just sat there, not moving, and like it felt like spiders was crawling up along my back. It was so weird. But that's just me. So, and I hasten to. You may notice that, like, in the majority of, like, all of my videos, I do not sit still. I move my hands. And if I'm not moving my hands, I'm just, playing, like, I have to be moving. And yeah, my lips moving could be one thing, but, like, that just doesn't seem right, you know? Um, so yeah, I do have, like, attention issues. I do know that much. I know I mentioned before that I don't get distracted easily like that, but I do. That's not to say I'm not distracted. I do get distracted. It's it is mostly with like other things. Like I'll be like playing like my PlayStation, maybe Mass Effect or whatever, whichever game I'm playing at the moment, which is Mass Effect. Um, and then every now and then I'll like watch. I'll put on like a YouTube video to listen to. I don't watch YouTube sometimes. I listen to it. But with that, I've noticed that like I would just stop what I'm doing. I would pause Mass Effect, even if it's like something I wanted to do. Like at this point in time, when I got done romancing Ashley, and so I wanted to go back and romance Miranda because it fucking felt weird to me to just romance someone else other than Miranda as a guy. Or as male shepherd. So I went back and I'm going back and I'm romancing Miranda because I noticed that like I would pause a lot because I didn't want to romance Ashley. I wanted to keep romancing Miranda, but to like break that cycle, I had to. I'm going through the whole thing of romancing other people because I don't want to say like, oh, Liara and Miranda are my personal favorites when I've only romanced Liara and Miranda. So that's the thing, and I have romanced all of Mass Effect 1 characters, but it was tough for me to do Ashley just because she's not a personal favorite of mine, but I would notice like I was delaying like finishing off with Ashley, so I would like pause and then just watch YouTube, like, and I would watch it for hours and hours or like minutes upon minutes. I think the longest I've paused, like whenever you pause a game, it usually shows like, okay, this is like how long you've been playing this account for. And like the quickest I've gone through Mass Effect 3 is maybe 24 hours, like in total, maybe close to that. It would just add up over time. So like I'd be playing for like hours and hours and whatnot, but at certain points I would just stop and just go through, or maybe not that long, but definitely somewhat close to it. Um, I don't speed rush Mass Effect. I don't want you thinking I'm going through speed running the entire thing. And 24 hours may not be that much. I think maybe Mass Effect 2 or 1 is that much. Like it would take you 24 hours to beat the entire game in one sitting, whatever. But I have beaten Mass Effect in like a short time. But the longest I've gone through Mass Effect was I think 70 hours or 50 hours, and that's just because my ADHD would kick in and it would be paused. It would be paused on the game. It would be like legit paused. Like if if you play like the new Mass Effect, especially on like Legendary Edition, if you go through a cutscene, you can't pause on. If you hit the PlayStation button, it would pause it. But I don't think that counts as it. If it does, then that's just then still the point is I have gone from like listening to YouTube and playing Mass Effect to pausing Mass Effect and watching YouTube. And it's usually in some cases it's just because like maybe my favorite YouTuber uploaded, or there's something of theirs I really enjoy or I'm curious about, or it's me watching YouTube shorts. But other than that, that's pretty much the only reason I've ever really paused Mass Effect. That, or if I'm picking a certain song to listen to, or if my grandma knocked on my door telling me, hey, you gotta like dinner's ready, we gotta leave or whatever, like that's it. But other than that, I'm playing Mass Effect or whatever game I'm playing. And this isn't like a once every month thing. This is like maybe 3 times a week, if that. Like I remember I paused. This was before I got the PS4. I was playing Fallout New Vegas for probably the 20th time, and I was paused. And I was sitting there watching YouTube for hours. The PS3 was still on. New Vegas was paused, but I was just sitting there watching YouTube for hours and hours. Like up until my dad went to bed, and then I just turned off my phone and I played the PlayStation for as long as the PlayStation 3 as long as I wanted, or as long as I chose to, which was like 2:30 a.m. Is it raining still? Weird. So yeah, so I played those games for that long. Well, I've been paused for that long. It is bad. So yeah, that's how my ADHD works. But that's just like the majority of it. There is probably some other stuff that contributes to my ADHD. I did talk with my mom yesterday about it. She's since I'm like the only one in her family and I'm legit the only person in my entire family to have autism. If what they say is true. Again, I don't want to say I have it just because some people may be like, you don't have autism, you're faking it. And I don't want to piss off those people. But if I legit do have autism, I am the only person in my entire family, probably bloodline, to have it. I say probably because I don't know how far back my family is willing to go. Who knows? But what I do know is that, like, my dad has ADHD, which is fine. So I got my ADHD from him. Probably, I think it's genetic. But like my my autism, I don't know where it came from. Maybe, I don't know. It's weird. I was vaccinated, but I'm pretty sure I had autism before I was vaccinated. So to all you anti-vaxxers out there, yeah. Again, all of my family is vaccinated, yet I'm the only person in my family to have autism. So boom, there you go, anti-vaxxers. I love proving people wrong just because it makes me feel special for once. I need to shave, so I might do that once we're done here. See, jumping from one thing to the next. That's just how I work. Yeah, and I would make a video about my autism, but I have like both autism and ADHD, so I have no idea what my autism contributes to or what my ADHD contributes to. I could say like this is caused by my autism, while some people are like that's ADHD or vice versa. Hell, maybe throughout this entire video there have been some things that my autism contributes to, and I'm like, nah, it's just my ADHD. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this just because I thought it was fucking weird that like I forget stuff. I did not plan on talking about the fact that I stay on YouTube. I pause a game and I watch YouTube for hours and hours, but here we are. Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know if you guys are like me. But like, if you ever watch like a movie or own a book that you've been wanting to read, but you don't read it, because you're not in the mood for it. I don't know if that's like a common thing, but that's like another thing that happens to me. One of the movies I wanted to watch for the longest time was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's based off of a book series I read as a kid. Yes, I read Scary Stories as a kid. It was available in like the elementary school library, so yeah, it was in elementary school by the time I read these books. If you guys haven't read the books, they are so good. They're a bit creepy. They're it's one of those books that you have to like read in front of people in the dark, hence the name Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But you could just read it without them. And it's still so good. So I got the book series for Christmas. Not I think the entire book series. I think there's 3 in the series. And my grandma got me the movie, but on like Amazon, but I still hadn't watched it. And so I bought it um like almost a year ago. Or I was still living at the other house. If you guys remember the other background, there was wood plaques here. There was like a window like back here, and then there was another one like right here for me. And I was sitting on a chair that squeaked like a motherfucker. Um, it was around that time I bought that movie, like the actual like physical copy of the movie. But at that point, I still hadn't seen the movie that my grandma bought me, so I just wasted her money on something I didn't use. So yeah, and it took me up until yesterday to finally watch it. And it was because I was in the mood to watch it. Now, there are movies I do own. Now, one of the movies I do own that I was very excited to get was the Banana Splits movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. It is goddamn amazing. It is funny. Not a fun movie to watch by yourself. I've noticed. I've watched it with my mom before. That was the first. That was the first time I've ever watched it. Was with my mom, but I heard about it through Dead Meat. So, shout out to James A. Janice for showing me the greatest movie of all time. It's probably because my obsession with Five Nights at Freddy's. But yeah. So, and I want to get Willy's Wonderland. So, once I'm done here, I may go to Target. I want to get like the entire Saw franchise. And I know they came out with a Spiral, the book based off Saw. I want to get that, and I want to get Willy's Wonderland, but I need to go through my other movies first. The only movie I haven't really finished up is the entire Leprechaun series. I do have the entire Leprechaun series. I'll have to make like a separate video talking about this, but I have like the entire Leprechaun franchise, except for Leprechaun Returns, because around the time that the disc set was out, the newer movie was Leprechaun Origins, which I hear is god awful, but whatever. Or the newer Leprechaun that came out in 2018. So yeah, I think it's Leprechaun Returns. So I need to like finish up that franchise, and then once I'm done there, I can get new movies and watch them, or delay watching them, but eventually watch them. I wanted to like finish up all my horror movies in October, but I was working. I was doing Halloween stuff at the theme park, so there's that. But yeah, so before I go on a tangent talking about horror movies, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below whatever the hell you want. I don't really care. Or if you have ADHD, let me know if you guys experience something similar. Or maybe tell me something that like you think is a contributor to your ADHD, and now I don't know, we can talk about it. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm mostly talking about like video game stuff. Even though I've been lacking it thus far, mainly because I want to get like, I don't know. There's some stuff I do want to talk about, but I'm just not ready. I do want to talk about like all the romances in Fallout, or not the Fallout franchise. And Mass Effect, the entire Mass Effect franchise, well, except for Andromeda, because I can't play that. I need like a special pass or something. But it's taking me so long, because, well, now it is, considering the fact that I finished romancing Ashley, and now I'm working on Miranda again for probably the 4th or 5th time since I have played. But this is like my 11th playthrough. So on my 10th playthrough, I think on my 10th playthrough, I romanced Ashley. And then I think my 5th playthrough, I romanced Kaden. So we're going up by 5s. God, by the time I'm done with all the romances, I'm going to be... No, never mind. I don't want to think about that. So yeah, so I do want to... I know like the majority of my channel has just been like nothing but things other than video games, but that's just because I don't have any ideas as to what I want to do. I want to get back into AFK Arena, but I've been slacking so far behind. I forgot that there is a new hero. So I need to check that out once we are done here. I think it's a new Graveborn hero. I forgot the name, but yeah. So there's that. I think it's Tresner or something, because I made a joke thinking it was like Trent Reznor or whatever. So yeah. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do talk about video games, but I also talk about like life stuff, just because I have no gaming videos to talk about or make. I don't know how to make gaming videos. I want to work on that. But yeah. Anyway, and if you do hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload, because I do not have a schedule. Losing Manic out.